How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. SEC expected to approve Ethereum futures ETFs by October. The US SEC is reportedly set to greenlight Ethereum ETFs for futures in the coming months. The regulator is expected to have about 12 applications from various companies you can read here, and they're not expected to deny any of them. Officials have reportedly indicated that some of the filings could receive approval as early as October. Another crypto bridge collapses as DeFi lender on Optimism suffers $7 million attack. Exactly a credit mark on the Optimism network said that earlier Friday it was actively investigating the security issue within their protocol. It had added that the protocol was temporarily paused, but users could still withdraw assets. The security firm PeckShield said on Twitter that it had detected an ongoing attack. Furthermore, the blockchain security firm DeFi said on Twitter that hackers made away with 4,323.6 Ethereum. Hackers were able to exploit a vulnerability in exactly smart contracts to take the Ethereum, according to DeFi. So we've seen a lot of these smart contract exploits lately. That's why I warn against using smart contracts, and personally I don't use any right now. Elon Musk says he's killing Twitter's block features, sparking an outcry. I might actually delete Twitter over this myself. Twitter owner Elon Musk shocked users of the social media platform on Friday, announcing they want to remove the ability to block other users. This came in response from a tweet from a Tesla owner Silicon Valley account, which asked if there was ever a reason to block someone. I block people that like to spam me and spam anyone that follows me on Twitter so they don't get that spam. I try and prevent them from being hacked by people that want to exploit them. So yes, there's a reason to block people. But onto the charts. Over on our total, we are coming down below our Fibonacci level. We have broken this value area range right here. We are trying to get a little bit of a push up. So that's the long and short of what's happened the last few days. If you don't tune in every day, I suggest you do, because you might miss something like my call out for 20K, which we're halfway to. We do have this up channel here on our total that we did fall from. So up channels usually are bearish patterns. We did see a freak breakout, but we are ultimately falling away from that now. Our momentum is coming out. Our view up is trying to get a little bit of a bounce here. Our money flow is kind of riding above this neutral, so it doesn't know if it wants to flip into the bearish territory. We'll have to see what tomorrow's candle brings. That could be our confirmation. We do want to get this green candle, but if we get rejected by a red candle tomorrow, we could see further downside that could bring us into this range where this gap here is. And if you haven't paid attention to the gaps lately, you don't know that they fill about 80% of the time, or on Anchor like 100% of the time. Momentum is coming down pretty sharply. Our VWAP's trying to recover, so if that VWAP breaks bullish, we could see further upside. Bitcoin dominance, we did gap down below our flag, so we could see lower price action down to this 48%, possibly see more money roll into stablecoins, and more sell-off. We do have this gap though, so this gap would suggest if we do not fill it sooner, we could fill it later. So if tomorrow we don't come up, fill this gap, and then wick down the next day and fall away and continue the breakdown, then we could see just a full breakdown and further downside. Our RSI is coming out, stochastic is coming down, money flow is rejecting away, and our momentum is coming out. Our VWAP's coming down pretty sharply with that momentum, so overall we have more bearish leaning indicators here, but we do have that hopeful future gap that may fill soon, or if it doesn't fill soon, we could see it be something that could propel us forward later, like if we come down to 20K. Bitcoin futures has one heck of a gap right here, so that'll be a nice fill, but remember we have these gaps as well. So that's where I get that 20K from this futures. Futures prices usually lead the Bitcoin prices. So we have this gap here, and it's likely to fill. They're 80%. Watch for Anchor if you don't believe me. We are falling, we have this support level, so if we do get a bounce off this support, we could come up, fill this gap, and then we would want to watch if we get rejected or continue up. If we get rejected, it would be very likely to fill the lower gap. If we continue up, it would be more likely to fill the higher gap. Money flow is coming out, so we do have a bearish trend currently, suggesting sell-off. Stochastic's coming out, VWAP's coming down, and our momentum's coming down pretty sharply. Over on Bitcoin, we have smashed through all floors, just broken every barrier. We are starting about half of our breakdown. We have been calling this channel for several days. If you're not familiar with it, we do have this area around that 20K, which matches that futures level. So we do have a pattern on Bitcoin that supports that futures gap fill. Speaking of smashing things, you should smash the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below, and join our Discord, as well as visit our Reaper apparel merch link. But on to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, we are overall in a bit of a down channel here. We are falling away. RSI is pretty weak here. Stochastics as beat down as it can be. We are bouncing around this overbought area, but it looks like it could start to curl off again. So just watch out for that. We could continue this like drop, sideways, drop. So if we do continue that, that could be a pattern that just inches us down. RSI is trying to get a little bit of a bounce overall, but if that stochastic weakens out, that RSI is likely to follow. Money flow is coming out. Our VWAP is in the bullish territory. It's kind of struggling though, going flat. So if it falls from here, our momentum's likely to pull back down. But our momentum is trying to push forward with that double green dot that printed. So if our VWAP can maintain this strength, we could see things pull itself up. We could pull back into the golden pocket, and then maybe we get a rejection after that. That would be kind of a retest of a support, which usually you get after your breakdown. Over on the 2 hour, we have a bullish divergence that wants to bring us up. RSI is going kind of flat. Our VWAP's making lower highs, testing that neutral. Money flow's trying to head up. Our momentum's trying to come up. So we have a little bit more bullish indicators than bearish. So we do have some hopeful looks for a little bit of a bounce up from here, but like I said, don't get too hopeful about it being like a run to 30K or even 36K like some people were calling. Meanwhile, the whole time we were here telling you we'd be down here. RSI is starting to curl off. RSI is going pretty flat. VWAP is starting to test that neutral, so it wants to break bearish. Our money flow is in the bearish trend. So we do have that bearish trend going on, and it's pretty strong right now. Our momentum is making bullish divergences, but it does look like it wants to come back down as our VWAP could break. If that happens, we may set another line here, see another divergence form, and then that could be what would push us up. But like I said, I won't get too hopeful unless we break through this pattern, break through our flag, and maintain ranges above this 30K. Until we flip 30K to support, we're likely to fill that gap. Over on graph though, we are falling just like everything else, trying to get a little bit of a rebound today though. Stochastic is coming down, RSI is trying to bounce, our momentum wants to come up, and our VWAP wants to head back up. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, but it does want to get a little bit of a curl. So if it can flip into the bullish territory and get above this like 4 zone, we could see some strength. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is heading up, RSI is heading up, our VWAP's trying to make a little bit of a bounce here, so that is hopeful for us. Our money flow is trying to get a little bit of a curl up here, but we are starting a bearish trend as we're getting lower lows and could get lower highs. If that does happen and we pull back here, then I would watch out. Over on the 2 hour, might have a little bit of a ascending wedge, so if you watch the channel, you know ascending wedges aren't that good. More of an ascending triangle actually. That, on the other hand, is something you would want to see. That could help us retest some of this fallen area, retest around this 9.5 zone, so we could get a whole half cent up. Not a whole lot when you think about it, but percentage-wise, it's a pretty good move. That's why you don't always want to focus on dollar value. Percentage is more important than your dollar value. If you gain $1 on $10, that might be better than gaining 50 cents on $100 or $2 on $100 because your percentages are way different. Our stochastic is starting to fall. RSI is starting to get a little bit of a fall. Our VWAP overall is getting lower highs, so watch out for a bearish trend to form. Our money flow is trying to push that neutral, so it does want to go bullish. If it can go bullish and maintain some strength, we could get some upside. However, it's kind of flicking a rejection, so watch out for that. Over on the 1 hour, we do have that possibility to push up. Stochastic is heading up, RSI is heading up. Money flow is slightly in the bullish territory, so see if it can gain some strength from here. Our stochastic is, our VWAP, is starting to round off. Our momentum is coming up, so our VWAP is a little concerning as we're getting lower highs and starting to kind of push away. So if we do push away from here, we could test the support, come back up, get real close to the point, and then maybe see a breakout, but I would just be mindful of a breakdown. Over on the daily for Anchor, we are getting a little bit of a push up, just like graph. So that is good for us. Our RSI is heading up. Stochastic's trying to get a bullish cross. Our money flow is kind of flat still. VWAP is trying to head up. Our momentum is trying to head up as a result. So if our VWAP can push bullish, then our momentum will get that green dot. Over on the 4 hour, we're pretty similar to graph here too. Stochastic's starting to kind of round off, getting a bearish cross. RSI wants to point up. Our money flow is pretty flat, trying to get slightly higher highs, so that would be kind of hopeful as we are trying to curl here. If we could curl and make a new high, then we could get higher lows and higher highs, so then we could form a bullish trend to help bring us up. Our momentum is trying to come up, so that could push us up, but that would be dependent on if the VWAP can maintain the strength. If the VWAP starts to roll over here, then we would lose our strength and fall to the bearish side and see another leg down, possibly filling this wick. Over on the 2 hour, I bet you on the 1 hour we might even have gaps or even lower time frames. Stochastic is starting to round off, RSI is trying to head up, our VWAP is trying to push up, so we're getting slightly higher highs currently, so that could help push us higher. Our momentum's trying to push up, and our money flow is getting a little bit of a rebound pretty sharply, so that could help push us up if we can cross that bullish territory and not get rejected like we have before several times. Over on this 1 hour, stochastic is trying to get bearish divergences that want to bring us down, so watch out for that. We're going kind of flat here, and our stochastic's starting to round off again. RSI has a red dot and looks like it wants to fall. Our momentum's trying to kind of curl out as our VWAP is starting to taper off. So overall, we are losing some strength here. Our money flow is trying to push near that neutral though, so if our money flow can flip bullishly and go strong with that VWAP curling back up, we could see a push higher. If that were to happen, then we may see some other higher price action. I don't know if we have any gaps up yet. That one, we might have like a little mini gap here at 2.2, but I wouldn't be too hopeful for that. We do have a gap down here as well at 1.9, so bet you if we look on the 30 minute or something, that must have been a really fast move. That's even a big candle on the 5 minute. So I wouldn't really trade on anything lower than these like hourlies and stuff, but looking at lower time frames can give you other glimpses into the market. So over on XRP, go back to the daily here. We are pretty flat compared to everything else. That's because we pretty much dropped before everything else. RSI is going flat, stochastic is starting to push down. VWAP is trying to get a little bit of a push up, so that is hopeful, as if that can push up, we could get some bullish momentum. Our momentum does want to get a bit of a curl. Again, that's dependent on VWAP. Money flow is coming out, so just watch as that's a bearish trend. Over on the 4 hour, we do have this volume profile. We broke below our value area low, and we are going kind of flat here. If we form some sort of a bear flag, we could see another leg down, so watch out for that. I wouldn't really get too excited. That leg down. Let's see. Would be just that support and filling those wicks, so just watch out for that. But again, not too worrisome, as we warned you about that well beyond us filling that. Like we warned you way back here that could happen. Stochastic is starting to fall, RSI is trying to push up, VWAP's trying to push up, looks very similar to everything else. Money flow's tapering out with lower lows, our momentum's trying to come up, so we could get a little bit of a push up here, but again, watch out. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic's overall pushing down, RSI is starting to push away. Our VWAP is getting lower highs and starting to get a bearish trend, so watch if it breaks down below the neutral. Our money flow is overall trending out and starting to curl away, so we could form lower lows with lower highs, and we could see a downtrend on that as well. Our momentum's trying to come up, but if the VWAP breaks, then the momentum is likely to get another red dot like this. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to round off, so watch out for that. Our RSI is starting to round with it. Our VWAP is starting to get a little bit of a push down, and our momentum's starting to curl away as well. Our momentum had a bullish divergence that wanted to push us up, but it's not really going anywhere, and it could be out of steam. Over on algo for the daily, we are getting a little bit of a bounce. Nothing too exciting. Our stochastic's starting to kind of taper off, so we would want to see if it can get a bullish cross and curl up strongly. RSI is trying to head up, our money flow is overall trending out, our VWAP is trying to push up, and our momentum is coming out. So we do have slightly more bearish signals than bullish. We could come down, fill this wick, and bounce off the Fibonacci zone. Otherwise, we may be able to rebound from here, as we are again green candles below the value area low. Over on the 4 hour, we have slight uptrend going on, so that's a little worrisome, as up channels, like perfect up channels, are breakdown patterns. Stochastic's starting to round off, RSI is getting kind of flat, so watch out if we form some sort of divergence and start to fall away from that. Our VWAP is starting to kind of taper off. Our money flow is trying to come up, so if the money flow can break that neutral, we could see some bullish action. Our momentum does want to come up, but if that VWAP continues to trend out, that momentum is likely to continue to stay in this low zone. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic starting to get a bit of a push down. RSI is starting to get a bit of a push down as well. Our VWAP is overall trending out. It did get a bit of a rebound off that neutral, so that is hopeful. But if we start to round away, we will get lower highs. Our momentum is starting to kind of reject away as a result of that VWAP. So just keep an eye on that. And that money flow is overall trending out. So we do have more bearish indicators than bullish. We did have somewhat of an up channel, and now we're going kind of flat from it, so we could get a bit of a rejection from here too. Kind of messy right now though. Over on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation X, so this manipulation X could try to bring us up. We did have an up channel or down channel on algo at one point. Yeah. We might be reforming some sort of a down channel. Just just a side note, so we'll have to kind of reevaluate that in the coming days. But stochastic's starting to trend out, RSI is starting to trend out, our VWAP is starting to trend out, and that money flow is overall riding under that neutral. Our momentum is starting to taper out, so we could see a further push off.